Today, the American Tort Reform Association released its annual ranking of judicial hellholes, essentially the worst places in the country to be sued. And Louisiana rocketed to the top of the list. We're number 2, just behind California. Unfortunately, this is not a good list. This is a very bad list. It's a dubious distinction. It sends a very strong signal to legal reformers and obviously the business community all around the country that we have the perception that it's tough to get a fair shake in court in Louisiana.
What is lawsuit abuse?
Yeah, lawsuit abuse is any time when you have litigation that clogs up the legal system, that makes it difficult for real victims to actually have their day in court.
What are the causes of lawsuit abuse in Louisiana?
The ATCH report calls out the state attorney general for handing out very lucrative contracts to his campaign contributors to do legal work on behalf of the state. That's very problematic and is of great concern to our organization and obviously to national legal reformers as well.
What would you like to see happen? What are some of the remedies to lawsuit abuse?
Sure. The report notes that one of the very first things that should happen is the legislature should really look at ways that we can reform the legal system in Louisiana. And obviously a perfect place to start would be looking at the AG's office and considering legislation where we can bring more transparency and accountability to that office.
Just how serious is the problem of lawsuit abuse in Louisiana?
Well, it's very serious. And look, this latest report should not be a surprise to anyone. We see it every year for the most part. We've seen it from the Chamber, we've seen it from the Manhattan Institute over and over. And I'm sure next year there'll be another report unless we stand up and make a change. We have a legal system that is not conducive to investment. It scares away investment. And as we compete in a global economy, there's no time for that. And every day we go without fixing this problem and making our legal system more fair and accountable, we're just going to scare away dollars and jobs that could be coming here tomorrow.
What kind of an impact does this have on jobs for the average person that works in Louisiana?
It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter whether you're in a large business or a small business. This issue impacts you directly. If you have the latest parish lawsuits we've seen, if you have a permit in the coastal zone, you're under attack. You're the next target. There's a select group of very entrepreneurial trial lawyers who have figured out how to make this system a great opportunity for them to grow their business. And they're targeting anyone with a permit in the coastal zone. And so whether you're in oil and gas or manufacturing and construction, you're next. And so we've got to stop this cycle. It is a runaway cycle that we have to stop. And if we don't, it's going to be our fault. We've seen it every year. And if we go another year without resolving it, shame on us, because it's just dollars and jobs that we're losing the benefit of.
What's it going to take to get this problem solved?
Well, we got to get our laws right. Because right now we have too much hanging in the balance of personalities, whether it's the Attorney General or local lawyers or Supreme Court lawyers or appellate lawyers and judges. We're putting in the hands of too many personalities. And we've got to make the laws black and white, because we've learned that the personalities aren't delivering the outcomes we need. But if we make our laws black and white, if we make it crystal clear that we have a fair and accessible court system that will be there for individuals and small business when they need it, but not one that is going to simply shake down business and employers every chance they get, until we're willing to step up and change our laws to make it crystal clear in black and white, we're going to rerun this problem every single year.
What would you like to see happen in this upcoming session of the Louisiana legislature?
Well, I think several things. I mean, first of all, we've got to take a look at how our small business owners being impacted by the court system. And right now, too many of them don't have an ability to go in and get fair access to a jury of their peers anytime they're challenged. And so that jury trial threshold is really an inhibitor, and it has become a very big problem for a lot of our small employers. And so I think taking a look at the jury trial threshold will help them get a more fair and accessible, balanced approach by their court system. Another thing, we have judge shopping in this state. People know where to go get the good judges. And so if we can find some ways to limit the judge shopping, limit the venue shopping, and put it, again, in crystal clear, black and white, so everyone understands the rules. That way, people can have their fair and accessible day in court, but you can't have the system being gamed by shopping for judges that we see today. And I think the last big tranche is contingency fees. You know, we're starting to see them used much more aggressively in this state, at the levy board level, at the school board level, at the parish level, at the state level. It's being used all over the place. And so the problem is getting worse. It's getting more pervasive. And so until we come out and put some black and white letter law in place to put some restrictions on it, we're going to see this issue continue.
The American Tort Reform Association Judicial Hellholes report specifically puts a spotlight on the avalanche, really, of litigation that we've seen in the energy sector here in Louisiana, from legacy lawsuits, which are filed against hundreds of oil and gas operators in the state for damages that may have occurred decades or even in some instances a century ago, to we've seen hordes of trial lawyers soliciting businesses to make false claims in some instances against the oil spill settlement. We've also seen now government-sponsored entities filing litigation against the energy sector, seeking to recover many, many billions of dollars. Taken together, all of this litigation really represents an all-out war, really, by the plaintiffs' attorneys on, an industry that provides thousands of jobs and billions of dollars in tax revenue to the state of Louisiana. And the long-term impact that this will have on the state, I think, is in question.
What would you like to see happen in the upcoming session of the Louisiana legislature?
Well, we'd love for the legislature to look at legal reform as a very serious business issue. I mean, today's report absolutely sends a signal to Louisiana lawmakers, policymakers, and certainly to citizens and businesses that the national legal reform community is looking very closely at our state. We would love for the legislature to respond with some positive legal reforms that will bring Louisiana back in line with the rest of the country.
From an environmental standpoint, what kind of an impact do these lawsuits have?
Well, they're preventing cleanup, quite frankly. And so in a lot of states, whenever there's a remediation issue that needs to happen, the cleanup happens, and then the courts can consider whether it was done appropriately to the extent possible. That's the way it should work. In Louisiana, all the lawsuits are on the front end. And so what they do is they prevent reasonable parties from sitting down and coming to a solution, to putting that cleanup first, and then we can fight after the fact. But right now in Louisiana, nothing's happening because the lawsuit abuse has come in on the front end and just been the ultimate driver of everything when it comes to environmental in this state. And so we're hurting industry, we're hurting jobs, we're stopping cleanups, we're helping a select few entrepreneurial trial lawyers. That's the only people benefiting from the current system. And this misperception out there that this is helping improve cleanup and this is helping on remediation, it's actually doing the exact opposite. And so if we do nothing, what's going to happen is next year we're going to be high on the rankings again. In fact, we're probably going to catch California next year. And so if we do nothing, we'll probably be number one on this list next year.
What have other states done to solve this problem?
Well, what they do is they put the solutions first. So in other states, if you want to have cleanup and you want to go do that, you get it done. And then after it's all remediated, then you can have a dispute. Then it's appropriate timing. Here, we put the lawsuits first. We put the lawsuits before the plan. We put the lawsuits before the cleanup. And so what happens is nothing. Nothing happens. We're not getting cleanup. We're not getting fair resolution to honest disputes between two business entities. That's what other states do. It's not rocket science. We know what to do. We know how to stop judge shopping. We know how to prevent contingency fee contracts. We know how to get a jury trial threshold that puts us in line with other states and gives small business owners a fair access to the courts. We know how to do it. It's not rocket science. The question is, will we as a state and as a people finally have the resolve this year to push for those changes? That's the question.
What about the lobbying efforts in the Louisiana legislature on this issue?
Well, the business community, quite frankly, we need to unite, stand together, step up, and explain to your average person out there why this impacts them. There's this perception out there that there's only one or two industries being targeted on these things. The reality is there's a growth model that a few entrepreneurial trial lawyers have, and it's going to go and target every single business in this state. That's where people work. That's where investment happens in community. We've got to make sure we explain that. And we also have to be cognizant of the fact that there are certain trial lawyers where they only care about one issue. And they can mobilize quickly, they can write checks quickly, they can go out and lobby quickly, they can use media quickly, they can do it in a moment's notice because they have one issue they care about. Business owners, we care about a lot of issues. We're out there pushing on K-12 reform and trying to improve our public schools. We're out there on workforce issues, trying to improve our workforce. We're looking for a fair tax code, a fair regulation environment. We're worried about what's coming in from D.C., and so we're working those angles. Business community has a lot on their plate, and they're involved in a lot of issues. That's what the great thing about the business community. The other side doesn't. They care about one issue, and they target it aggressively. So we have to know our opponent, we have to understand the stakes, and we have to explain to the people of this state why it impacts all of them, not just a few industries. And I think this perception that it only targets them is a real problem we have.
If people have questions like more information about lawsuit abuse in Louisiana, what should they do?
Please look us up online at www.llaw.org. That's LLAW.org. We're also on Facebook and Twitter under the hashtag Reform Louisiana.